The mockery of the Galactic Council. The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly around the ESS Unity, humanity's official diplomatic vessel. Inside the observation deck, Ambassador Sarah Chen stood perfectly still, watching the approach of the Galactic Council's massive station. The structure dwarfed anything humans had publicly built, a crystalline sphere the size of a small moon, pulsing with energy fields that made the surrounding stars shimmer. Ambassador, they're requesting docking procedures. Lieutenant James Morrison reported from his communication station. The young officer kept his voice steady, but Sarah could see the tension in his shoulders. Proceed with standard protocols, Sarah replied, adjusting her formal diplomatic uniform. The crisp white fabric bore the United Earth emblem, a simple blue and green sphere surrounded by silver stars. She had practiced this moment countless times in simulations, but nothing could have prepared her for the reality of meeting the galaxy's supposed superior beings. The docking process took nearly an hour. The Council's technology made it clear they were accommodating what they considered primitive human systems. Sarah watched as mechanical arms extended from the station, gently guiding the Unity into position with almost patronizing care. Docking complete, Morrison announced. The Council representatives are waiting in the main assembly chamber. Sarah nodded, gathering her diplomatic team. Dr. Elena Vasquez, Humanities League xenobiologist, joined her side. Captain Robert Hayes, the Unity's commander, completed their small delegation. Together, they walked toward the airlock, their footsteps echoing in the metal corridors. The doors opened to reveal a sight that took Sarah's breath away. The assembly chamber was a vast cathedral of light and energy, with representatives from 12 different species arranged in a perfect circle. At the center, a holographic projection showed the Milky Way galaxy in stunning detail. "Welcome, humans," a melodious voice filled the chamber. The speaker was Ambassador Zeleth, a being of pure energy contained within a humanoid crystal form. "The Galactic Council acknowledges your presence." Sarah stepped forward, offering the traditional Earth greeting of a slight bow. "Thank you, Ambassador Zeleth. Humanity is honored to finally meet our galactic neighbors." A ripple of what might have been amusement passed through the assembled aliens. Sarah noticed several species exchanging glances, their expressions unreadable but somehow condescending. Supreme Commandant Krex, a massive reptilian creature with scales that shifted colors, leaned forward from his elevated position. "Tell us, human ambassador, how did your species achieve faster-than-light travel? Your technology appears limited." Sarah maintained her diplomatic composure. "We developed our FTL drives through decades of research and international cooperation. While our methods may differ from yours, we've successfully explored several star systems." "Several systems." The voice came from Counselor Vex, an insectoid being with multiple compound eyes. "How quaint. The Hive Collective has colonized thousands of worlds across 3 galactic arms." The other species nodded in agreement. Sarah felt the weight of their judgment, their casual dismissal of humanity's greatest achievements. She had expected some degree of technological disparity, but not this level of open mockery. "Your vessels still use fusion reactors," noted Tech Overseer Quarren, a synthetic being composed of flowing liquid metal. "We abandoned such primitive power sources millennia ago." "And your hull construction?" The being made a sound that their translator couldn't interpret, but the meaning was clear: disappointment. Dr. Vasquez stepped forward, attempting to shift the conversation. "We're eager to learn about your species' biological diversity. Perhaps we could discuss cultural exchange programs." The response was worse than mockery. It was pity. Ambassador Zeleth's crystalline form pulsed with soft light. "The Council appreciates your enthusiasm, Doctor, but such programs require a certain level of technological parity. Your species is still in its infancy. We categorize civilizations by technological tiers," Supreme Commandant Krex explained, his scaled hand manipulating the galactic hologram. "Based on our preliminary scans, humanity would be classified as Tier 8, barely above pre-spaceflight cultures." Sarah felt heat rise in her cheeks, but kept her expression neutral. "And what tier are council members?" "The lowest among us is Tier 4, Counselor Vex replied, antennae twitching with amusement. "Most are Tier 2 or 3. The ancients who established the council were Tier 1, though they've transcended physical space." The implications were clear. Humanity was being viewed as barely civilized, children playing with dangerous toys they didn't understand. Sarah activated her neural implant, sending a coded message back to Earth. The response came instantly. "Proceed with primary diplomatic protocol. Secondary protocol authorized if necessary." "Perhaps," suggested Elder Zephyr, a gaseous being that shifted and flowed within a containment field. "Humanity would benefit from council guidance. We could establish a protectorate, help your species develop properly." "Under supervision," added Tech Overseer Quarren. "Your experimentation with quantum fields and dimensional mechanics is concerning. Without proper oversight, you could damage local space-time." Sarah took a deep breath. The Council's concern is appreciated, but humanity prefers to chart its own course. "We've come to establish peaceful relations, not surrender our sovereignty." The chamber fell silent. The alien representatives exchanged more glances, communicating through methods humans couldn't perceive. Finally, Supreme Commandant Krex spoke again. "You misunderstand your position, Ambassador Chen. The Council doesn't offer choices to Tier 8 civilizations. We prevent them from becoming threats to galactic stability." "Threats?" Captain Hayes spoke for the first time, his military bearing evident. "We've threatened no one." "Not intentionally." Ambassador Zealoth's tone was almost gentle. "But your species shows dangerous tendencies. Your history of internal conflict, your rapid technological advancement without proper philosophical evolution, your stubborn independence, these are warning signs." "We've observed your transmissions," Counselor Vex added. "Your entertainment speaks of conquest, of human exceptionalism. Such attitudes have led other species to destruction." Sarah felt the meeting slipping away from diplomacy toward something more ominous. "Are you suggesting humanity poses a danger to the Council?" "Not to us." Supreme Commandant Krex's scales shifted to a deep crimson. "To yourselves and younger civilizations. Did you think your location in this spiral arm was coincidence? The Council has been monitoring your development, ensuring you remained isolated until ready for contact." The revelation hit like a physical blow. Humanity hadn't discovered FTL travel and reached the stars through their own brilliance. They had been allowed to, like children finally permitted to leave their playpen. "Your fastest ships travel at mere multiples of light speed." Tech Overseer Quarren continued the humiliation. "Our patrol vessels could cross your entire explored territory in moments. Your weapons are chemical explosives and directed energy beams we consider mining tools. Your computational systems still rely on binary logic," added another council member, a spherical being covered in crystalline sensors. "Your understanding of physics is incomplete, your medical technology primitive, your energy production wasteful." Each statement felt like another weight added to Sarah's shoulders. She had trained for this moment, prepared for cultural differences and technological gaffes, but not for this complete dismissal of human achievement. Elder Zephyr's gaseous form swirled contemplatively. "The Council will vote on humanity's status. You may be granted provisional membership under strict guidance, or," the being paused, "alternative measures may be necessary." "Alternative measures." Sarah kept her voice steady despite the implied threat. "Technological limitation protocols," Supreme Commandant Krex stated bluntly. "Removal of FTL capability, restriction to your home system, monitoring stations to ensure compliance. For your own protection, of course." The Unity's small crew stood in stunned silence. Everything they had worked for, humanity's dreams of joining the galactic community as equals, was crumbling before their eyes. Sarah felt the weight of representing 7 billion people who had looked to the stars with hope, only to find condescension and control. But beneath her diplomatic exterior, Sarah felt something else stirring. The neural implant buzzed with an incoming message from Earth Command. Secondary protocol approved. Thunderbolt is go. Sarah straightened her shoulders and met the alien's gazes directly. The Council's position is clear. Before you vote on humanity's fate, there's something you should know. Oh. Ambassador Zeleth's crystal form flickered with interest. And what would that be? You've made assumptions about human technology based on this vessel. Sarah gestured to the unity around them. But this ship was designed specifically for this meeting. Confusion rippled through the chamber. Tech Overseer Quarren's liquid metal form shifted uncertainly. Designed. For what purpose? To be exactly what you expected. Sarah smiled for the first time since arriving. Primitive. Limited. Non-threatening. Several light years away, in the darkness between stars, Commander Marcus Torres received the coded signal aboard the EDS Prometheus. The true Earth Defense Fleet had waited 3 years for this moment, hidden in the cosmic void, powered down to minimal signatures. All stations, this is command. Torres spoke into the fleet-wide communication system. Operation Thunderbolt is authorized. Begin power-up sequences. Prepare to drop stealth protocols on my mark. Around him, officers who had trained in absolute secrecy sprang into action. The Prometheus wasn't humanity's most advanced ship. It was merely the command vessel for something far greater. Mothership Gaia responding, came a voice through quantum-encrypted channels. Antimatter reactors online. Singularity drive initialized. Dimensional shields charging. Torres smiled grimly. The aliens thought they knew humanity, had judged them by carefully crafted deceptions. They had seen what Earth wanted them to see. A young species stumbling into space with crude technology and naive dreams. They had no idea what humanity had really been building in the dark. Fleet-wide announcement. Torres commanded. All vessels prepare for coordinated jump. Target coordinates locked. Let's show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. In the space around the Prometheus, reality began to bend. Ships that dwarfed anything the Council possessed powered-up systems that defied their understanding of physics. Weapons that could crack planets charged in silence. Shields that could withstand supernovas shimmered to life. The real human fleet, product of decades of secret development and technologies the Council couldn't imagine, prepared to reveal itself. The mockery was about to end. The Council had judged humanity by their past. Now they would face humanity's future. Humanity's true power revealed. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, Sarah Chen maintained her composure as alien representatives exchanged worried glances. Her revelation had shaken their confidence, but they still didn't grasp the full implications. Elaborate. Ambassador Chen. Supreme Commandant Krex demanded, his scales flickering between colors. What exactly are you suggesting? Sarah activated her personal holographic projector, displaying the Unity schematics. This vessel uses technology from 50 years ago. We deliberately limited its capabilities to match your expectations of a Tier 8 civilization. Tech Overseer Quarren's liquid metal form rippled with indignation. Impossible. Our scans would have detected any hidden technologies. Would they? Sarah smiled. Your scans detect what you expect to find. You see primitive fusion reactors because that's what we showed you. You measure limited computational power because that's what we allowed you to measure. The Council members shifted uneasily. Councillor Vex's compound eyes focused intently on Sarah. You claim to have deceived the Galactic Council's sensors. That would require technology beyond your demonstrated capabilities. Exactly, Sarah replied. Which should tell you something about our actual capabilities. Before anyone could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the station. The central hologram flickered, replacing the galactic map with tactical displays showing massive energy signatures appearing throughout the system. Alert. Unidentified vessels dropping out of dimensional fold. The station's AI announced. Configuration unknown. Technology basis unknown. Threat level unable to calculate. The Council erupted in confusion, Multiple species began communicating in their native languages, overwhelming the universal translators. Only Ambassador Zeleth remained focused on Sarah, the crystalline being's form pulsing with rapid calculations. "What have you done?" Zeleth asked quietly. Sarah's neural implant buzzed with incoming data. "The fleet had arrived. We've stopped pretending." The tactical display updated, showing ship after ship emerging from folded space. The Council's sensors struggled to process what they were seeing. Vessels that bent physics, wielding energies that shouldn't exist, arranged in perfect formation around the station. At the center of the formation, something massive began to materialize. Space itself seemed to part as the mothership Gaia emerged from its dimensional pocket. The vessel was beyond anything the Council had encountered. A sphere of pure force fields containing a controlled singularity, with rotating rings generating gravitational waves that allowed it to move through spacetime itself. Commander Marcus Torres stood on Gaia's bridge, watching the Council station on his displays. "This is Commander Torres of the Earth Defense Fleet, to the Galactic Council. You wanted to measure humanity's technological tier. Allow us to provide accurate data." The Council chamber fell silent. Every species present stared at the tactical displays, showing human ships that defied their understanding. Tech Overseer Quarren's form lost cohesion momentarily before reforming. "These readings, they're impossible," Quarren whispered. "Antimatter singularity hybrid reactors, dimensional phase shields, quantum probability weapons." Supreme Commandant Krex's scales had turned pure white, a color Sarah hadn't seen before. "Where did you obtain this technology? Which ancient race gave you these designs?" "No one gave us anything," Sarah replied, standing taller. "Humanity developed this technology ourselves. We've had faster-than-light travel for 30 years, not 5. We've been exploring the galaxy in stealth, learning, developing, preparing." Preparing for what? Elder Zephyr's gaseous form had contracted into a tight sphere. "For this moment," Sarah gestured to the displays. "For when we would be judged by those who consider themselves our superiors. You classified us as Tier 8 based on the technology we chose to show you. Would you like to reassess?" The Gaia's presence dominated local space. Its gravitational manipulation created visible distortions that made stars appear to dance. Smaller human vessels demonstrated capabilities that exceeded anything in the Council's databases. "Demonstration Alpha," Commander Torres announced over open channels. A human destroyer fired a single quantum probability weapon at a designated asteroid. The asteroid didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, removed from reality at the quantum level. Demonstration Beta. A cruiser activated its dimensional shields, phasing partially out of normal spacetime. Council weapons fired at it passed through harmlessly, unable to interact with matter existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Demonstration Gamma. The Gaia itself pulsed with power, its singularity drive creating a controlled wormhole that connected to a point thousands of light-years away. Through the opening, more human ships were visible, stationed throughout the galaxy. Counselor Vex's antennae drooped in shock. "You've been everywhere. How did we not detect you?" "Because you weren't looking," Sarah explained. "You assumed no young species could hide from the mighty Galactic Council. Your arrogance blinded you to evidence of our presence." Ambassador Zeleth's crystalline form dimmed. The anomalous readings from the void sectors, the unexplained dimensional fluctuations near the galactic core. "That was you." "Among other things," Sarah confirmed. "We've established hidden colonies in 12 galactic sectors. We've studied 17 extinct civilizations, learning from their mistakes. We've developed technologies by combining principles your specialized species never thought to merge. The human fleet maintained its formation, weapons powered but not aimed. The message was clear. Humanity could defend itself but chose diplomacy first." Supreme Commandant Krex finally found his voice. "Why reveal this now? You could have remained hidden." "Because isolation isn't our goal," Sarah replied. "Humanity wants to join the galactic community, but as equals, not as subjects. We revealed ourselves to you precisely because you're the established power. We want partnership, not conquest." Elder Zephyr expanded slightly. "You orchestrated this entire scenario. The limited technology, our condescension, the threat of restriction. You predicted our every response. We studied your past interactions with emerging species." Dr. Vasquez spoke up. "The Council follows patterns. You always judge by initial impressions, classify based on visible technology, and attempt to control through paternalistic protection." Captain Hayes added, "We needed you to show your true intentions before revealing our capabilities. Now we can negotiate honestly." The Council members looked at their displays with new understanding. The human fleet wasn't arranged for attack. It was positioned for defense. Despite their overwhelming technological advantage, humanity hadn't threatened or demanded. They had simply demonstrated capability and asked for respect. Tech Overseer Quarren reformed into a more stable configuration. "Your dimensional shield technology. It's based on principles we abandoned as impossible centuries ago." "One species impossible is another's challenge," Sarah smiled. "Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our refusal to accept limitations. Tell us something can't be done, and we'll find 12 ways to do it." Supreme Commandant Krex's scales shifted through a spectrum of colors before settling on deep blue. "The Council must deliberate. This changes everything." "Take your time," Sarah offered graciously. "We're not going anywhere. But understand this. Humanity won't be controlled, restricted, or patronized. We offer partnership between equals, nothing less." The next hours passed in tense negotiation. The Council, shaken from their presumptions of superiority, struggled to adapt to the new reality. Some members argued for immediate alliance, recognizing humanity's potential. Others worried about the implications of a species that had deceived them so completely. Throughout it all, the human fleet remained in position, a quiet reminder of the power behind Sarah's diplomatic words. Commander Torres monitored everything from the Gaia's bridge, ready to respond, but hoping force wouldn't be necessary. Finally, Ambassador Zeleth spoke for the Council. "We have reached a decision. Humanity has demonstrated technological advancement far beyond our initial assessment. More importantly, you've shown wisdom in revealing your true capabilities peacefully rather than through conquest." Supreme Commandant Krex continued, "The Galactic Council offers humanity full membership with equal status. No restrictions, no oversight, no limitations. We acknowledge you as a Tier 2 civilization, pending further evaluation that might place you even higher." Sarah felt relief wash over her, but maintained her professional demeanor. "Humanity accepts, with conditions. We'll share technology gradually, ensuring no single species gains destabilizing advantages. We'll contribute to galactic defense but maintain our own command structure. And we'll help evaluate and uplift other emerging species, preventing the patronizing treatment we experienced." Elder Zephyr's gaseous form swirled in what might have been amusement. "You would reform the Council's first contact protocols." "Someone should," Sarah replied. "How many potential allies have you driven away with your superiority complex? How many species chose isolation rather than submit to your control?" The question hung heavy in the chamber. Several Council members exchanged uncomfortable glances, remembering past encounters that had ended poorly. "Perhaps," Ambassador Zeleth admitted, "our methods could benefit from fresh perspective. Humanity's approach, strength tempered by diplomacy, power balanced with wisdom, offers lessons we should consider." As negotiations continued, the human fleet powered down weapons while maintaining defensive positions. The immediate crisis had passed, but the work of integration was just beginning. Back on Earth, billions watched broadcasts of the historic meeting. The revelation of humanity's true capabilities sparked celebration and pride. The species that had been dismissed as primitive had proven themselves equals to the galaxy's established powers. In her private quarters that night, Sarah Chen reflected on the day's events. Humanity had taken its place among the stars not through conquest or submission, but through careful planning, and measured revelation of strength. Commander Torres sent her a private message. Outstanding work, Ambassador. The fleet stands ready to support diplomatic efforts going forward. Sarah smiled, looking out at the stars through her cabin viewport. The galaxy had learned an important lesson today. Never underestimate humanity. The Council had mocked them for their apparent limitations, only to discover those limitations were an illusion. As she prepared for the next day's expanded negotiations, Sarah thought about humanity's future. They had earned their place through deception, but they would keep it through honor. The galaxy would learn that humans were more than their technology. They were innovators, diplomats, warriors when necessary, and builders of bridges between species. The Galactic Council had laughed at humanity's supposed weakness. Now they sat at the same table, recognizing humans as equals. And in that transformation lay proof of humanity's greatest strength, the ability to surpass anyone's expectations, including their own. The stars no longer seemed distant and foreign. They were destinations, opportunities, challenges to be met and overcome. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy not with aggression but with capability, not with demands but with confidence. The next chapter of human history would be written among the stars, as partners with species who had learned to respect them. The mockery had ended. The future had begun. And throughout the galaxy, species who had dismissed humanity as primitive began to wonder what other surprises these remarkable beings might have in store. The humans had fooled them all once. What else were they capable of? As Sarah finally drifted to sleep, she smiled at one last thought. The Council had wanted to protect the galaxy from humanity. Instead, they might find humanity protecting the galaxy in ways they never imagined possible. The universe had gained not just another spacefaring civilization, but a species that refused to accept limitations, that turned mockery into motivation, and that proved sometimes the youngest voices carry the wisdom of fresh perspective. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same.